Hello everyone and welcome to the AOC CGPL winter split of Smite, the inaugural split of Smite here on CGPL. I'm Husey. Joining me is the famous, or some would call him infamous, Josh Nightfall Campbell. Nightfall, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks, Husey. Infamous, I can deal with that. I'm hyped for this CGPL league. It will be going for 6 weeks. We've got 2 groups of 4 teams. I don't have the list. It is LG Direwolves, and then we've got the Dark-Sided, and then we've got Atoll and who are now Ninja, yeah. And then there's one more team.
You get that. So in Group A is the Direwolves, Dark-Sided, Avant-Garde, and Red Rocket. Group number 2 is Legacy Esports, Kanga Esports, Ninja Esports, and Equinox. And we're going to see our first match of Group B right here, right now. And it is Kanga taking on Legacy, actually a rematch of their Smite OPL match that happened over the weekend. We're already into the very nice picks and bans here that CyberGamer has done up for this. And we can see Osiris and Susano taken off the board first by Kanga, while Saket and Fafnir were banned by Legacy. And Raven's going to go ahead and be that first pick for Kanga Esports.
Now, that's a very interesting pick because it can go jungle or it could also be a solo laner. So at the moment, it's a flex pick for Kanga and Legacy Esports. Their responses are Bellona and Atera, both very strong picks at the moment. Atera, great support as great engage, peel, healing, and then the ultimate as well as a global presence to help out the team elsewhere. Bellona as well, great engage, great damage, and just a nuisance to deal with. Wkong and Toth now the response from Kanga.
See, this doesn't make sense to me that they would restrict themselves to Sun Wukong solo Raven jungle right now. Like, the Sun Wukong will probably still be on the board, you know, well after the ban phase. And you can pick up, you know, like Ho Yi here, a really strong hunter. You could pick up basically anything other than Sun Wukong. On the side of Legacy, they're going to go ahead and lock in that Kamazot's next ban phase coming through. Athena and Ares taken off the board by Legacy. Soul banned by Kanga. So Legacy obviously looking to really target out Tori Skies. 3 support bans from them, and the Terra picked up from them as well. So Tori going to be having to reach deep into his god pool here, although Kepri is still available.
Yeah, Gib as well is also available. And in the current meta, lifesteal on ADCs is not that prominent. You want to go for that pin build or a crit build, and that's supports deal with that by having a lot of peel now rather than engage. So we've got Kunernos is the next pickup here for Legacy Esports, and their lineup is extremely strong. And then the follow through is Ho Yi and a Kepri, as you mentioned.
So I'm not quite sure how Kanga were allowed to do this. They pick up Ho Yi in the second phase where they've already picked up Sun Wukong, and they pick up Kepri as well. I'm really liking Kanga's draft here. On the side of Legacy, Scylla is going to be the mid lane of choice here for iDivine on the side of the Tree Squad. The kernel of this pick is pretty strong right now, but he's hasn't exactly had the greatest success in the OPL or SPL. Pretty, you know, kind of average performance, and that's not necessarily bad, but like average in terms of hunters. He's not especially strong, he's not especially weak, he's just in a nice solid position at the moment, which I think is really beneficial. The seller pickup though for Legacy Esports is going to be very interesting. They're basically saying we're waiting until the late game, and then our mid laner is going to do things, and then hopefully he can carry us from there. Whereas Kanga, Toth, while he has lots of late game as well, and can arguably be even better in the late game than Scylla, he could still do things early. He could still pressure some waves, even though his level 1's not the greatest, but he's got a lot of relevancy early, whereas I feel like Scylla lacks that a fair bit in the early game.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Battleground of the Gods here at the CGPL Smite League. Game number 1, Kanga Esports on your left side and Legacy on the right side. So counting off the rosters, we've got KO, Envisionize, Desecrator, Tori Skies, and Galen on Kanga Esports, and Legacy is Freemason, L Chuckles, Divine, Weave, and Limits.
So neither of these squads have really seen many roster changes since Split 1. Legacy, their only change has been Freemason into the jungle in place of Yada, who left to join the Dark-Sided roster. Tori Skies is the captain of Kanga Esports, and he's really helped this team grow and get into a really good place, both the OPL, and hopefully that'll be reflected for them in the CGPL. Interesting start here from Kanga. They're going to go ahead and take their red buff before heading towards their lane, but they're up against a Terra and Kerner, so they're going to have a very heavy pressure battle on their hands.
Yeah, very interesting there. I think both teams thought that they would be pressured by the opposing team, but that didn't happen. They both started at red, and now they're meeting here in the lane. TorySky's taking a tiny bit of damage, but they've got pots. They are the supports. They've got that health regen as well. But what I really want to point out is that it's a frenzy first item, first relic there for TorySky's. They're looking to play very aggressive here in the early game.
And we can see them doing that right now, heading in towards Legacy's jungle. Going to be looking to pick up this purple buff. The Frenzy actually popped there by Sky, so they're looking to really heavily clear this buff.
Interesting.
And now Weave's coming in, Limits is here as well, but Limits is abandoning his support. Weave plucked in by Sky. There's the Bramble Blast, but Galen doing so much damage that he jumps in to Weave and gets the first blood over by the purple buff. Envision Eyes on the other side of that picks up El Chocos as well. Freemason in a lot of trouble as Envision Eyes is chasing him down, but Freemason barely makes it back towards his tower, and Kanga get 2 kills on the board before the 2-minute mark.
That was crazy. So they popped the Frenzy over in the duo lane so that they could take the buff faster, and then by the time that Weave had come around the corner, it didn't even matter. Like if he had gone a little bit earlier, or if the Frenzy was still going, he still would have died, or he could have tried to interrupt the buff taking, but that didn't happen, and Kanga just played that so well. I'm not sure what happened over in the solo lane, but that is 1 kill for the jungler of Kanga. So he'll be able to spread that that gold around the map and the extra stats.
What's great as well about that Frenzy play from Tory is that it enabled Kanga to clear the buff really quickly, so that allowed them to hit level 3, which gave him, you know, more power, more defensiveness, and it enabled Galen to get his jump in, although I think he might have already had that. So it either gave him his jump, or he upgraded his ricochet, so that means they were able to do more damage and pick up that first blood. Envision Eyes rotating over here, he's level 5, just going to go ahead and punch out the Goatman Limits, but no kill coming over on this left-hand side.
I don't think that was worth doing, to be honest. He should have waited maybe a little bit longer, perhaps till his Sunder was back off cooldown to go in there. He didn't really pop anything from Limits, and he's trying to go in again, ulting. There's the root. It's gonna miss. 2 ults for literally nothing. Okay, questionable decision there by Kanga.
And that's what's really going to cost them, is those kind of small mistakes like that, because that's something that Legacy knows how to take advantage of. And Kanga, they've got a lot of skill on this roster, but they make so many mistakes. And once they start correcting all those mistakes, we're going to see just an explosion out of this squad. But I mean, they're already doing quite well for themselves, so the future is bright for this roster.
Yeah, it's weird to see that the level 1 was so good, and then suddenly they just kind of they didn't throw their lead yet, because Legacy have not capitalized on the ultimates being down there, but perhaps they were just too eager to get in there. Speed buff is being taken, and yes, it was successfully stolen there by KO. They're going to rotate over to that right side, but again, Kanga just a little bit too keen and a bit too on the trigger finger there.
Yeah, they're a very aggressive side. Everyone knows that about all these players. Very aggressive, especially their jungler Envision Eyes. You know, the meme is he just presses W and runs at you and somehow still manages to pick up the kill. But it's been an effective strategy for Kanga thus far, so, you know, why not? And that's what this whole, especially Galen over in the ADC role as well, very, very aggressive. TorySky is very aggressive. Interesting build coming out here from Galen, going the Shifter's Shield first item.
Yeah, so it's pretty great at the moment. It gives you that 70 power whenever you're above 50% HP, and when you're below, it gives you an extra 35. Is it 35 or is it? It is. It's 35 protections. That's medical and physical.
But it's a total of 50 protections when you're under 50% HP, so a lot of defensive.
Yeah, from the base stats.
The problem with it though on ADCs is that you don't get 2 of the kind of most important stats that you need as an ADC, which is penetration and attack speed. You get neither of those. So while you do get that huge raw power spike, in terms of like kind of core ADC stats, you're a bit lacking on it, and especially on a hunter like Hou Yi, who really benefits from either a very penetration heavy build or an attack speed heavy base build. He's definitely suffering at the moment from that. But it means, I suppose, that Galen's got a little bit of flexibility in his next few item choices, and he can, you know, go things without any power on them because he'll already have it through that Shifter Shield. So maybe we'll see something like a Fatalis early, or an RC or an Iqbal.
All engagement in the mid lane. Divine taking a bit of damage there from Envisionized. Torres Sky has traded out very poorly there. Didn't want to get that damage return, but unfortunately Legacy had other ideas. Returning to that Hoya Shifter Shield though, I see it as a cheaper Transcendence that doesn't give you mana, instead gives you protections. So it gives you a little bit less power whenever you're at level 20, because you get 90 from Transcendence and you get 70 from that Shifter's Shield. But it gives you, as you said, the flexibility to go into something else. You can go into Ikaval, he could go into Arzi for the lifesteal if he wanted, or he could even go into Executioner. Maybe a little bit too early there, but yeah, I mean, he's got so many choices and that power is very, very strong. As well as the tankiness. The survivability is very important too.
Exactly. On an ADC, though, you're really relying on your orders to get you out of trouble with any kind of defensiveness. Taking a look at our graphs now, we can see that Kanga have built themselves up a tidy little 3,000 experience, 2,000 gold difference as we're heading towards 7 minutes. So this is actually quite a lead here in the early game, and they really need to make sure that they can hang on to that as we head towards the mid stages of the game and when Desecrator starts to really become relevant. Torres guys dashing forward, they're not able to pluck anyone in. Chuckles gonna jump in now, he's gonna take a bit of damage. Armor Monster comes out from Divine, and the bat out of hell from Chuckles as well. No target here for him. Divine forced to use that ultimate and to dash away now. There's the frenzy popped by Kanga. Limits taking some damage up into the Somersault Cloud. Goes KO, but there's still no target here. It looks like there's gonna be no kills out of this engagement.
Desecrator charging out that ultimate. He was looking for Divine, but he couldn't see him through the wall, stunned up, forced to use that beads, dash away, lands the stun onto Limits. He's still going, the fight has not stopped. Freemason will actually be the first to fall there on Legacy, but that kill is returned, and that will be Desecrator falling.
Desecrator actually managed to hit 2 there with his final judgment, so that really prevented Legacy from going in and getting more kills. And it kind of made them back off before his team could get there. So that final judgment really just kind of ended that engagement before it even really begun. So, you know, only a 1-for-1 trade there between these two teams, but, you know, that favors Kanga in that engagement as they were able to steal away the speed buff successfully. Blue buff, though, will be secured by Chuckles for himself. He does find himself 2 levels behind KO at this stage.
That's a massive lead. I mean, 2 levels. It's 3, unless Freemason can try to farm up very quickly. He's going for the fire elementals now. Will he be able to hit level 8 from that? He should be. Okay. No, he won't. Okay.
He did triple split it, so...
Not the wisest of ideas when you're level 7 and 8 minutes. So looking at Desecrator though, he's picked up the Doom Orb and he died there. So he's a little bit further behind than where he would like to be, and that also paints a target on his back for all of Legacy just to jump on him, and they can do that as well. They've got a Scylla who can get an ultimate off after a Bellona engages. Over here at the Gold Fury though, they're trying to jump on him again. So much damage. There's the ultimate, and as I was talking about him being a target, they all jump on him 4 versus 1.
Yeah, his Khepri was nowhere near him to give him the benefit of that Scarab's Blessing, so Desecrator a little bit caught out of position there. On the SPL over the weekend, FDOT was mentioning that as long as you can keep that Doom Orb above kind of 15 stacks, it's worth it in terms of the expense for the item, because at 15 stacks you get an extra 30 power, so that item as a whole will be giving you 70 power, and for the price that it's worth, that's still a good amount of power. Obviously you want to be keeping it at full stacks to get the full benefit of the Doom Orb, a whole big 140 power spike here in the early game. But Desecrator's not going to be worried too much about falling down there. At the moment, he's still able to get farm and lane, so he's still able to go ahead and pick up some extra stacks on that Doom Orb. So what needs to happen, though, is that when we head towards kind of the 12, 13, 14, 15 minute mark, is that's when he really needs to be concerned about dying, because that's when you really start to struggle to be able to pick up more waves and farm.
Indeed. So looking at the net worth, it's very interesting because the Khepri is right below the Ravana. So
Lono's mask.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Pretty good item. If you don't know, max stacks, it'll give you 400 gold. And,
Frenzy.
Yeah, there we go at the Gold Fury. Frenzy pop. Torres Skies was taking up too much damage. Now he's forced to back out. Weave will actually be the first to go down. There's the Armor Monster only hitting Galen, dealing about a third of his HP, but Freemason will be the next to fall. Limits taken extremely low. L Chuckles jumping in. He doesn't have the ult. Actually, there it goes. Will he be able to pop Desecrator? No, he can't. That's the Khepri ultimate being placed onto him, so he's very safe. Gold Fury still not taken. Kanga Esports still in a position to take it, but they're wisely choosing to back.
Yeah, they're down on all their ultimates. People are low health, low mana. Chuckles could really wreak havoc if they were trying to do the Gold Fury there, and Divine could potentially steal it with a Crush, which is the best secure that's up on the map right now. So, wise call there from Kanga. They do manage to pick up 2 kills, but Legacy prevent Kanga from executing their plan of taking the Gold Fury. And since they forced Kanga back to base, they're going to be able to pick up their farm on the right-hand side of the map, which they've been missing for the last few minutes. So overall, that engagement really benefits Legacy.
Indeed, I mean, they're able to retake that ward vision. They've got that ward on there, although here comes another engage. There is the pull onto Limits, but he's forced to dash away. The stun coming up, it will keep them safe. So there's 4 or 5 here for Kanga around the Gold Fury. Chuckles on the right side of the map. Did he back? No, he teleported.
Here comes the Terra's Blessing out of weave. KO with a Tiger form, trying to find a stun, but he can't get it. Galen dashing away. He misses, though. He's Ricochet, and Limits picks up one. Chuckles picks up another one. Limits with a double kill. KO being chased down. There's the Sunder onto Galen. Freemason diving heavily onto the ADC here. Galen hits Chuckles with his Ricochet. He has his jump, but Freemason can't quite find the kill. And now Legacy, it's their turn to attempt this Gold Fury, and they're going to be able to get it.
Very nicely played there. I think the positioning of Kanga was the fault of their demise right there. The ADC, that was Galen sitting in that red buff, while the rest of the team was being taken down. He wasn't running. He had to run, otherwise he would have got taken low anyway. So if he had run then back, he might have been able to contest the Gold Fury. But I mean, all round well played there by Legacy, and a good teleport from Chuckles.
Portal Demon taken now by Legacy as well, and that is essentially Kanga's lead erased. Experience and gold under 1,000 in their favor basically now, and that's really no difference at this stage in the game. There's pretty much 0 gold difference. Experience difference is irrelevant as well, really. Only 1 or 2 levels separating people here. So Kanga really a big kind of throw there, and this game is kind of back to square, back to even.
Yeah, it certainly is. Freemason looking for a bit of damage here in the solo lane. The Portal Demon was taken by Legacy, so they might be able to... Chuckles is going to go through it, and they might be able to find an engagement over here in the right side of the map. Talk me through this this Gladiator Shield, though, on KO. It's got cooldown reduction, it's got power and protections.
It's just an all-round very value item, you know. Shout out to the Fonky, but it's very cheap and it provides a lot of great stats. Chuckles plucked in here over on the right-hand side, takes some poke damage, but he's going to be able to jump away. But back to the Gladiator Shield, you know, as you mentioned, power, protection, cooldown reduction, and anytime you hit an enemy god with an ability, you get 2.5% of your maximum health and mana returned to you. It can only trigger once per ability, so if you hit 3 people with 1 ability, it doesn't count, but you hit 1 enemy with 3 abilities, then it does. So it's a lot of just value for a very cheap item.
How much was it? 2.5%, so 3 abilities, you're going to be healing for about 7.5 of your max HP. That's pretty good.
Freemason in trouble here. Sun's raining down from Galen. In goes to Visionize, misses the Mystic Rush. Wild Hunt comes out from Limits, so that's going to save the life of his jungler. And now Envisionize is in a little bit of trouble. He's rooted in place. The Crush comes through. Great KP revive from Torres, guys, just on time. But he leaves him hanging in the eye of a monster. Limits picks him up with a basic attack at the end of it all. And Legacy pick up another kill.
That was very unfortunate timing of Torres Guys' dash. I mean, he dashed, but that was Envisionize just reviving where he was before he dashed, and that got him caught in that I'm a monster. So good engage there by Legacy, and another pick for them. They're now ahead in kills, and looking at the graphs, they're now ahead in gold. Experience still in their favor, only slightly. Might as well call that equal, but Legacy have started to come back here, and I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing here for Kanga, because both teams have got quite a decent late game team composition.
Yeah, the Thoth and the Scylla in the late game is what we're really going to be looking towards. Limits is 5-0-1 at the moment. He's now 2 levels above Galen. He's got his Iqbal and Executioner online. He hasn't really needed to invest in lifesteal because of his Shifter of Seasons, so he's having himself a good time at the moment. 2 levels above his opposition number. In terms of player damage as well, he's second on his team, 4th overall in the game, but he's going to be the next kind of major influencer in this game in terms of team fights and everything like that. So look for Legacy to really play around him.
Indeed, alright, so mid-game, nothing really happening here at the moment. After that pick, they're just sort of trying to poke each other down, trying to look for more jungle buffs. As you can see, Alchakos is going to steal away that speed buff from Envisionize. That'll reduce his engagement, although, I mean, as you said, press W to engage, and that's what Envisionize does. I saw him earlier, he just went below... Not below, behind enemy lines. He just walked straight into the enemy jungler, took him down to about half HP and walked out and did nothing. Like, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing Ravana, you can get away with that kind of thing. Looking at wards on the map now, Legacy really warding very well. Taurus guys taking some damage here in the mid lane, but Legacy definitely seem to have the superior ward coverage at the moment, and just overall a better strategy in how they like to ward.
Indeed. I mean, adding on to that, the vision... Both teams are playing around it very well, but the thing that they're not doing is pushing towers. I mean, look how much tower damage there is overall. The mid tower and the right-hand tower for Kanga are about half HP, just over, and the same for Legacy's mid tower. It's just about half HP. So these teams, like, once they're making these picks, they're not pushing towers. They're only getting jungle buffs.
Well, it's because in the engagements, they haven't really gotten clean fights. They've been losing a lot of health themselves, so it's very, very risky for them to really go for those towers. So they've been, you know, kind of wisely backing off. Taurus guys taking some poke here again. The sun's raining down from Galen, but Taurus guys doesn't even get a chance to pop his own ultimate as Limits claims his 6th kill of the game. Galen forced to jump away. Now Limits is going to start up the gold tree. All 5 members of Legacy Esports are in the area. Weave and Chuckles zoning away Desecrator here as the Gold Fury is under 50% HP, under 25% HP now, and Limits is just going to solo this one down. He takes the Gold Fury, the second one of the game, going the way of Legacy Esports, but Kanga, they want to engage off the back of this and make Legacy pay, and they want them to make them pay in blood.
Did you see that ricochet? That was beautiful. Before Freemason had even altered, it was fired and it still hit him. He's down to about 1% HP. Can KO get him? He does. Gets him with that master as well, and there is Divine with the armor monster, but no, it's the dash up into the skies from Galen. L Chuckles will pick off KO under that tier 1 tower. After that, it's Gold Fury and 1 kill for either team.
Have a look at now in the mid lane. Desecrator and Galen got a full minion wave here, but they're not looking to really get too much damage down on the tower. They're instead going to go for the Portal Demon here, following Taurus guy's call. And since everyone from Legacy is in the base, and they have that Frenzy available, Envisionize is here as well, they should be able to get this. So I do like this call. Limits coming in potentially for a steal, but he's a little bit too late. But the Portal Demon goes the way of Kanga, so they do get themselves a little bit of return after that engagement.
Yeah, at the same time, look in the left lane. We see El Chuckles is right under that tier 1 tower. So he's going to start off the split push because he knew that his whole team had backed. So... Did he have vision of Kanga going to the right side? I don't think so. I guess he must have assumed that they would go over there. And yeah, now starting to take that tier 1 tower. As you said, the Frenzy was popped. But if you look at it, he's upgraded it to the tier 3 Frenzy. And this is quite early to do that. It is 500 gold as well. So he's put himself behind in gold so that he can give his team extra stats in the team fights.
And it's attack speed, penetration. I think that's the big one there, is extra penetration. Plus, they've got 2 Sunders on the team as well. So any frontline targets on the side of Legacy are definitely going to be feeling the hurt when Kanga chooses to engage on them. The biggest issue with Kanga's composition I see right now is that engagement is going to be very difficult for them. You know, Taurus guys can't initiate a big team fight. Neither can Envisionize or KO. They're really looking to pick off one member and then force the fight after that, or look to counter engage off the back of Legacy's aggression. So Kanga are going to be struggling kind of in these big team fight engagements when they want to be the aggressors. It's going to allow Legacy to play very safely and defensively till their Scylla can get online.
Yeah, and once she is online, it's a very, very scary Divine that will be destroying all of Kanga. I mean, at the same time, whenever you ult as a Scylla, you're standing still for about 1.5 seconds. So Desecrator will have time to get damage off, and if he's already charging the Final Judgment, when he sees Divine going for that ultimate, he'll be able to pop it and then pop Divine's health bar straight to 0. So that is one way for Desecrator to counterplay it. Again, because there's a lot of dive on Legacy's team, other than Terra, there's not a lot of peel.
Exactly right. I like the ethereal stuff pickup as well from iDivine. You know, a little bit of crowd control reduction, some extra health for him, decent amount of magical power, and the passive as well, so strong.
Yeah, it certainly is. That giving extra penetration based on the amount of kills that he's got. That even counts on minion kills, jungle counts as well. So as he stacks that up, it's pretty insane. It counts for that penetration towards. It gives you extra pen that you don't need from items. You could get a pen item a little later, but as we see, Desecrator is going for that spear of what I can only assume is Desolation for the cooldown reduction.
It should be Desolation. You know, Magus doesn't really work all that well with Thoth. I mean, yeah, Obsidian Shard's just better than Magus for Thoth, but it is going to be that Spirit Desolation. Good amount of pen, power, and cooldown reduction.
Yeah, and being
he's got
the
a fully
only
stacked Doom Orb as well, so he's got a ton of power online.
He certainly does. And being the only magical damage on the team, I don't see Magus being a very wise choice, so going for that spear instead. Actually, they're both called spear. It gets confusing when when you say, "Oh, I'm going for the spear item," and then there's two of them. Anyway, we can see that there's a Masamune picked up here for Envisionize, so he's going for that movement speed. He's got health and 50 power from that as well. Get a stacking buff that provides 7 magical protection and 7 physical protection. It's kind of like a Thor buff there, isn't it? Only for defense.
Yeah, protections instead of power there. But it just works so well with what you're trying to do as a Ravan, which is getting your enemy's face, get into their backline, and look to just cause as much havoc as possible. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Runeforged Hammer coming out next from this Ravan. Right-hand side, Chuckles spots out Envisionize and KO heading towards his lane. Taurus guy's already here, getting some extra farm for himself. But no towers taken yet in this game. We are starting to see some of these towers dip below 50% HP. But neither team is successfully able to take a structure yet. After those earlier few engagements, we started to slow the pace down a little bit here.
Yeah. Usually in this current meta, you'll see at least 4 or 5 towers down, and perhaps even a Phoenix if the game is going really rough for one team. So, I mean, it shows how even these teams are in this matchup. I mean, 6 to 8, and the gold lead is, what, 1,000 at 21 minutes, no towers taken? Like, that's almost unheard of in this meta.
Yeah, it's a very even game thus far between these two teams. They did split earlier in the week, as we mentioned. You know, that the game that Kanga won was a very long one, so looks like we might be in store for another one of those long games between these two teams.
Yeah, most likely. Alright, so from here, the Gold Fury is gonna be up in roughly 1 minute and 30 seconds. That will be the next point of contention for both teams to try to take that, get a lead, and then try to win a team fight. Or if they do team fight around the Gold Fury, perhaps that'll be the first tower being taken in that left side. I mean, the wave is pressured here for Legacy's favor, so they could even start pressuring it now, as long as they set up the ward so that they can see Kanga try to rotate over. But at the same time, if Legacy are too pressured, too pushed up, then Kanga will have that the jungle power, because that's their territory. They can just rotate over and get the fight.
Left-hand side, Tori's guard's going to clear some minions here, but the Oracle Harpies were taken on the Gold Fury just before by the side of Legacy, and the Gold Fury is respawning, so there's no vision on that side of the map for Kanga. They just merely know that it has come back up. They need to be very careful about being over on this right-hand side. They're formatting their speed buff, and this is basically given Legacy carte blanche to go for the Gold Fury. Yeah, they pop the Kepri ultimate on Tori's guys as well. Force that one out. Now the Gold Fury started up. Chuckles is going to TP in, and it's going to be very difficult now for Kanga to get here in any kind of strength to stop this Gold Fury. It's going to go down between the combined forces of Weave, Divine, and Limits. Taurus guys again taking a lot of damage. Very fractured engagement here from Kanga. Very fractured movement. Out comes the Frenzy from Tori. Envisionize is in the backline as well. A lot of damage being done to Legacy. The final judgment comes through. Weave taking a lot of damage. Envisionize still going in. There's the Tiger Fall from KO. Freemason jumps in with the Eagles rally. I'm a monster off the mark for Divine. Weave somehow still alive. Envisionize forced to pop the Aegis. And Kanga, they force Legacy away. But Legacy get the Gold Fury and don't lose a single member. They might lose their mid-tier 1 tower, though.
Yeah, that would be the portal demon going in favor of Kanga as well. They all know that that's the next objective that's up, and that Legacy can't contest that at all. So that was really weird. I think Kanga were in a prime position to make a pick onto Tori, because Tori was like right up against them at the Gold Fury, and he tried to steal it as a Kepri. I mean, that's never going to happen. The fact that he was there was, I mean, quite frankly, quite silly for him. And then Legacy did nothing for it. If they had picked him off and then they picked everyone else off, because it would have been a 5v4, that would have been all in Legacy's favor. But Kanga played it really smartly after they made a few positional mistakes. As you mentioned, they were on the right side and fractured around that left side. I mean, that fight for Kanga was recovered so well.
It was, but it could have gone so much better in their favor if they'd had a more solid kind of positioning and path into that Gold Fury. Even if they just let it go and then look to get a pick afterwards, if that was their focus, then they could have got a few picks there and taken a tower. They did manage to get the Portal Demon afterwards, so it's not a complete loss for them, but still, it's these little mistakes that keep costing Kanga dearly.
Indeed, indeed. So taking a look at the graphs after that, it's now a 3,000 gold lead for Legacy. XP is still about even, so it's all about that gold and therefore the items for Legacy. And I mean, that doesn't really tell the story of this game though. I mean, we just saw it, the team fights are so even if it's in one team's favor, the other team somehow seems to pull it back, and then it just goes back and forth. 6 to 8, 25 minutes in the game. This is a crazy game.
Exactly right. There's not much separating either of these squads right now. Kanga starting to get a little bit aggressive here in the mid lane. They're pushing a minion wave up. Ward coverage and Legacy all very present in this area. The other team able to really find the engagement thus far. Right hand side, KO keeping Chuckles occupied by his tower, but it's not going to take much for this bat to get towards the mid lane. Kanga seem a little bit unsure about what they want to do here.
Yeah, they look hesitant almost. They've set up their wards though, so they have that vision advantage that they can pressure this tier 1 tower. If they get a good team fight with Envision Eyes jumping in, Tori Skies needs to get a pick onto someone like Limits or Divine, pop the beads, and then the rest of the team can follow through. Legacy at the same time though, their reactionary team fight whenever they're being initiated on is actually really strong. As we see, Alchakos is getting dived in the right lane. There's the Terra ultimate and his own ultimate forced to pop there. One or the other should have been better.
And that was all at the cost of just a Sunder coming out from KO as well. So good work there from the solo lane of Kanga. And now Desecrator is going to stick around here and push up this right-hand side tower. He's going to be able to take it. As in the mid lane, Galen and Taurus guys were looking to push down the mid tier 1 tower. Limits though has been given free reign over on this left-hand side to take the tier 1 tower, potentially even the tier 2. Kanga though going hard here under the tower. Freemason taking a lot of damage. Envision Eyes really doing a lot of damage here with the help of that Sunder. And the mid tier 1 tower is the target here from Kanga, and they're going to be able to pick that one up. So 2 towers in very short order for them, but Legacy get 2 towers of their own, both on the left-hand side.
Yeah, that was so much in favor of Legacy there. As we dive in the mid lane, Envision Eyes using their ultimate to get in there. We've taken extremely low with that final judgment as well. There was the Sunbreaker on top of them as well to get more damage off, but all of Kanga getting hit by that Kanunos ultimate turned into pigs. There is Chuckles with his ultimate back off cooldown already, going now in for Galen, forced to jump away. He is rooted up. There's the stun. So much CC on towards Chuckles. Now the fight is continuing under the tier 1 of Kanga.
Yeah, Legacy should be able to get this tower in return. They stuck around a little bit too long. Kanga flew a little bit too close to the sun, trying to take that tier 2 tower. And a lot of ultimates were thrown into them and absolutely deleted their health bars. Desecrator trying to defend this tower. He dashes right back into Eye Divine. Nice use of the Aegis, but it's not going to save him here as Freemason puts him in the ground with a bludgeon. Taurus Guy's now trying to defend his tier 2 tower. We've got to root him in place. Envision Eyes and Galen are here as well to help defend this one. They might be able to stop it. Crush comes through as well as the wall clap from Weave, and they do save their tier 2 tower, but they can't get anything else off the back of it.
They should have got that tower. Look how low it is. It's like 200 health. It's like 2 or 3 basic attacks from like 2 people of Legacy. That's a lot of 2s, but anyway, Kanga being able to defend against that was really, really good there, and now the Gold Fury has started up with the team fight. Vision Knight's already down to half HP, forced to use that ultimate. He is jumped back onto from Freemason. KO picking off limits in the backline. El Chuckles again ulting to try to get away. That's the second time this game already. He's down to about 25% HP. He's jumping away. Will he live? Yes, he will. Galen is stopping that engage, but that'll be a Gold Fury for Kanga.
They're starting this one up. Galen's got a lot of damage. Frenzy pop from Taurus guys as well. No one around from Legacy to really contest this one, so this is a free Gold Fury for the side of Kanga, and that's very important because they do find themselves at a deficit to Legacy, but now they're going to heal a little bit of those wounds now with that Gold Fury, pick up a little bit of experience and gold in their pocket, and the lead is cut down to 1900 experience, 2300 gold, so still a pretty even game thus far between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the graphs, look how much it fluctuated in the past three and a half minutes, 4. That it started off in Legacy, went jumped up for them, back down towards Kanga after they took that tier 2 in the mid lane, and then back to Legacy. Now the Gold Fury, back to Kanga. This is some nutty gameplay, Husey.
It is indeed. Portal Demon, the next side of contention between these two teams. Kanga was thinking about doing it, but Legacy hung around long enough to advise him that it was not such a great idea. And now both teams really heading back towards their own jungles, just picking up their buffs, and then looking to find someone out of position before they attempt this Portal Demon. Left-hand side has been severely pushed up by the side of Legacy, and it's forced Taurus guys over here to try and clear some of these minions up, but that means for the side of Kanga, they don't have that big Kepler revive where they need it. You know, Weave can be away from the team, away from his team, and still contribute with that Terra's Blessing ultimate. No such option available for Tori.
Yeah, I mean, that's Portal Demon taken there by Legacy. They saw that the support was in the left lane, and there was a distraction by the solo laner on the right side. So they were free to take that one uncontested. Kanga now at even more of a deficit, and that deficit is 2,600 at 30 minutes in the game. This game is so even. What is going on?
Right hand side, tier 1 tower being taken by Legacy. Emperor's Armor on Weave gonna allow them to take less damage from that tower. So they're still staying pretty healthy as they're pushing up this side of the map. Freemason not stunned out there by Galen, but he is rooted by Envision Eyes. Desecrator with a hieroglyphic assault, chunking out Limits. Freemason forced to ult away, but here comes the final judgment from Desecrator, and he hits Limits as KO already picked up Freemason. Wild Hunt comes out from Limits. He's being chased down though by KO and the rest of the Kanga squad. Chuckles was plucked in, but he's going like a bat out of hell to try and escape here. However, Envision Eyes and KO say, not so fast, son. We're hungry for some bat. And it's going to be Envision Eyes that picks up the kill. And Kanga get a really nice counter engagement here. Pick up 2 members of Legacy. And so now it's their turn to assault the right-hand side of the map.
They could do fire if they really wanted, but they're going for that tier 2 tower instead. The confirmed 300 gold and the territorial advantage. They could still go for Gold Fury here, but look at I Divine. He's standing on a wall. That's unfortunate for him. He's going to get picked. But I mean, he had the potential to steal. It's just he didn't know the ward was there. He's forced to pop that ult for the move speed. Meanwhile, KO is jumping in on Weave. Cancel that. He's turning into bird form. They're trying to catch I Divine, and this is a wild Scylla chase.
Not going to catch her though. She's too fast for them to handle. They are going to get these Oracle Harpies here on the left-hand side. And taking a look at Golden Hand now, there's a fair bit for Galen and Taurus guys here. So they should be able to go back and buy up some more of these core items. Galen's actually gone for that rage for some of that crit damage here. For this Hoi, rather than kind of the usual penetration heavy build we usually see.
Indeed. So I want to add to that. So Divine had a good position to try to steal the fire, but after he took the damage from Desecrator, Kanga all should have looked to the Fire Giant and just burst it down, because the closest other person was the Terra, and there was no chance for there's no chance at all for a Terra to steal a Fire Giant. And if Scylla had tried to come back in with the Armor Monster, she would have died anyway. So Kanga, instead of chasing, could have gone for a Fire Giant, and they would have had the advantage anyway. But choosing not to take the risk, instead spending up the gold that they had from that tier 1 tower in the right lane, that's not a bad decision, but an interesting one nonetheless.
Both teams still relatively even at this point. Golden experience difference is minimal between the two squads. Desecrator doing a fair bit of damage at this point. Divine about 4k damage behind him, despite the fact that Divine has not died yet. They've both picked up Rod to Hootie, so both of these mid laners are going to be kind of the big influences in these fights if they can get their abilities off and if they can hit the enemies, especially the final judgment. I think that's going to be the really big kind of fight turner for Kanga.
Yeah, it will indeed. I think looking at the Hunter's build, already Limits has got a Deathbringer and a Rage with 2 stacks, so that's a lot better than what Galen has in the Shifter's Shield and an unfinished Deathbringer. So as well, he doesn't have a Fatalis, whereas Limits does, but the engagement starting off already, Weave being the first pick.
Taurus guys pops his frenzy as well. Limits forced to run away from KO and Envisionize. Desecrator and the rest of the Kanga crew forcing Freemason away as well. So Kanga get themselves a free pick and immediately turn their sights to this Fire Giant. Their frenzy's down, but they still have a lot of damage in hand to be able to take this one. They're starting it up. That Glyph of Pain provided them some extra damage. Divine hanging in the area, looking to steal it away along with Freemason. KO zoning them out. Final Judgment by Desecrator's Hobbit here. He's trying to secure the Fire Giant with it, and they do. Kanga Esports get the first Fire Giant of the game. Freemason stunned out, taking so much damage there from Desecrator. He's almost dead, but he somehow makes it out alive. Chuckles was looking to flank and find a kill as well, but he can't. So Kanga Esports get the Fire Giant. If
Kanga were able to pick off Limits and Freemason there, they would have been able to pressure possibly a Phoenix, but I mean, here it comes. Here comes the definitely in the left side, the tower, the tier 1 and the tier 2. They could 100% pick those off, but unfortunately for them, they weren't able to. But fortunately, they do get the Fire Giant on all 5 members. They'll be able to back, they'll be able to spend up more gold, and they'll be able to pressure anything they want and win any team fight, unless Legacy play it almost to perfection.
I mean, there's still not too much separating these teams at this point. This, you know, Divine's hit level 20, so all of his abilities have got kind of their extra passives associated with them online. He's got his kind of core build online as well. 2 Runeforged Hammers coming out of Legacy as well. Limits is in a really good spot right now in terms of his build, so they still have the potential to win the fights, but they have to play them very, very well.
I like the Oni's, I was going to say Oni's Hunter's Guard, but it's actually Shogun's Kasari for the extra attack speed for Legacy picked up by El Chuckles. It's great because it's good for him on Camazots, it's good for Bologna and Limits. So, I mean, their team fight is still good, but they have to be together. In that last fight at the Fire Giant, they were all over the map, all around that Fire Giant. They weren't fighting as a team.
Left-hand side, Kanga take the tier 1 tower. Limits takes a chunk of damage there from Desecrator, who thought about throwing off that final judgment. Taurus Guy's dashes full, but doesn't get anyone with the pluck. In goes Freemason. Taurus Guy's taking so much damage, but the frenzy is popped here from the bug. Forced to use the Kevi Revive, but he hits Galen instead of himself. Desecrator with the final judgment, trying to get it off onto Chuckles. What? The Aegis will save his life here, and now Kanga, they're starting to turn this fight as Chuckles is taken low, but a good root from Weave will save the life of Soul Laner until KO flips in with the Somersault Cloud. And on the left-hand side, Kanga is still pressuring forward. They've got the regeneration coming through from the Fire Giant, but Divine is here and healthy, and he is clearing waves like a madman, so Kanga forced to back away.
Regeneration is what kept Desecrator alive there. There was 2 people jumping in on his face, but he wasn't able to go down. I mean, if Legacy had confirmed that kill, that would have been absolutely amazing. And it looked like Desecrator actually missed his Divine Judgment there. Final Judgment, sorry. And, I mean, after all of that, Kanga did not get a tower.
They got 1 tower. They got the tier 1.
Yeah, that tier 1 did go down, didn't it?
That's totally worth for the Fire Giant.
100 gold? Yeah.
But they're still pushing, man. They're still pushing. They've still got a minute left on their Fire Giant, so they still have an opportunity to do something here.
Indeed. So they're going to re-pressure this left lane. They should be able to pick up this tier 2 now, because a lot of Legacy are out of position. There's that... What is that tower item again?
Emperor's Armor. Tori's guys are in a lot of trouble. Freemason jumps in as Limits picks up Tori. Desecrator, no relics available for him, so he's forced to just run away to get the tier 2 tower. But Kanga might have, bit off a little bit more they could chew. Divine as the armor monster looking for a target here, but he's not going to find one. Galen in a lot of trouble, just using his Aegis, buying his team time. He lays down his ultimate as well for some extra damage, but it's not going to be enough as the Hunter for Kanga falls down. The support is dead as well, so Kanga... Now, they get the tier 2 tower, but what is it going to cost them?
A Fire Giant should wear off very shortly here for Kanga. Legacy pressuring that mid lane. Finally, that tier 2 tower will go down. Extra 300 gold in each of their pockets. After that one, will they go for the Phoenix? Looks like they're choosing to.
Limits taking so much damage here from Desecrator. Nearly 100 to 0, but Ardevine says, you think you do damage? I'm a late game still. Let me show you what damage is. And he deletes Desecrator off the face of the map. Middle Phoenix now being taken by Legacy Esports. The Emperor's Armor working in their favor. Divine, though, being jumped on by Envision Eyes, taking a lot of damage, but a good stun from Weave will save the life of his mid laner. But the Middle Phoenix is saved by Kanga. Bat out of hell, coming out of Chuckles here, trying to find Envision Eyes. Not enough damage just yet for the kill. The Middle Phoenix is saved by Kanga.
I think the only reason that it didn't go down was because Limits was taken low and he didn't want to go for the DPS onto the Phoenix. Instead, he went for the lifesteal on the back camps to try to stay alive so he could get something else. But, I mean, great fight there by Kanga to stop that Phoenix going down. Although they did lose that tier 2 in the mid, as well as the Portal Demon. So, I mean, all things considered... okay, so Kanga's still ahead. What? What is this graph? What am I looking at, Husey?
It's very up and down.
Yeah, it certainly is.
But with that Portal Demon take, Legacy are in a prime position to take the Fire Giant. Kanga, gonna be a struggle for them to get in and defend this one. Legacy, though, not over-committing to it. They do have Limits chunking it down. The rest of the squad is going to be able to zone away Kanga for now.
That was a half HP crush onto Galen. That does so much damage, and it's such a wide area as well. That's the thing about the crush versus the Desecrator's top is a Canernos ultimate being popped, but it only hits Tori Skies. The Limits taken very, very low. Will he be able to go down? Yes, Desecrator is able to pick him off. Kanga Esports already on top of this fight. Here's Divine actually returning a kill onto Envision Eyes, but he's being jumped on by KO, and everyone's still fighting.
Bat out of hell from Chuckles, trying to find a target, but he doesn't have one. The Capital Revive was already used by Tori Skies, so he's going to probably take a spill here. In dashes Weave, gets the root. Galen, though, is able to use his beads. Galen pops his Aegis as well. KO gets a nice double knock-up. Galen dives away under his tier 2 tower, but Tori Sky is being chased down by Freemason, and Freemason claims the life of the bug. Right-hand side, the tier 2 tower is being taken by Legacy. Actually, no, they're hunting for some kills here. Divine's going to be the one, though, to stick on this tower. They're all turning their attention back to the tower now. Alright, there we go, Legacy. Just take the tower, don't chase the kills.
Can they go for Fire Giant? Will they go for Fire Giant? They certainly can. The problem is they don't have Limits, though.
Yeah, they don't have their ADC, and that's the person they really want to have their Fire Giant buff on, and that's the person that's really going to do the most damage to the Fire Giant for him. KO taking some damage here from Legacy, but he's a very tanky Sun Wukong thus far. Freemason actually stunned out there and taking some damage from the Hieroglyphic Assault. KO's sticking around here in the midst of all the Legacy players. We've taken some damage now from Kanga, and Legacy might have stuck around a little bit too long, especially Weave. Trying to dash away, he dashes through his pillar, dashes again, but KO's right there with a Somersault Cloud in his clone. Along with his own basic attacks is going to be enough to pick up the support for Legacy Esports. Galen starting up the Fire Giant here. Now it's KO Divine dashing in towards this Fire Giant. Chuckles does get the teleport off in time to get back towards this objective. In goes Envision Eyes, trying to find someone with a Mystic Rush, but he's off target. He's looking for Chuckles, trying to do some damage. He's just trying to keep Legacy away from the Fire Giant. But Kanga seem to be splitting their decisions about whether they're going to take this one or whether they're going to look for the fight.
Divine over the side is looking for the steal, but he won't get it. Kanga Esports are finally able to pick up that Fire Giant for the second time. Galen taken extremely low. He doesn't have the jump away. He can't get over the wall, so Limits will be able to pick him up. That is the ADC now gone. One person without the Fire Giant. They just need 4 more to get rid of that, but well played there by Kanga. Being able to pick up that fire, they will have the better team fight now. The problem is that they don't have any towers there. Actually, neither does Legacy. No towers left on the map. And Kanga are ahead. I mean, holy... The graphs are even. What? It's 42 minutes in the game.
I mean, there's not much separating these teams in terms of skill, apparently. Both of these teams dead even after 43 minutes in, despite the fact that Kanga's gotten the only 2 Fire Giants this game. You know, there's been 5 Gold Furies taken, 3 of them have gone to Legacy, 2 to Kanga, and now it looks like there's going to be a 3rd one going Kanga's way as well. So that'll give him a bit of a lead here But what they really need to look for now is pressure in these lanes and look for a Phoenix.
This is game 1. So yeah, this is the thing that's happening. It's 43 minutes, so even in the first game of the CGPL League. This is absolutely amazing. For everyone watching, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy yourselves as well. We'll see what Kanga do with this Fire Giant. They are looking towards this left lane Phoenix. There's not a lot of ward vision here for Legacy. They do have some by those mid camps and by that intersection at the top of the map there. So, I mean, to be honest, that's all they really need. They just need to watch the escape routes of Kanga so that if Legacy are able to make any picks, they can pick off any stragglers that are trying to run away.
Left-hand side, Kanga getting some pressure. Desecrator unable to find anyone with a hieroglyphic assault. No other lanes being pressured up at the moment, which is a little bit strange, because you want to be trying to force Legacy to split their forces here, especially with the Emperor's Armor that Weave has. But Kanga unable to find too much here, and Visionize misses the route onto Weave, and he's taking a lot of Phoenix damage.
Frenzy.
The Frenzy is popped here from Tory Skies, and now this is the engagement that Kanga are looking for. Envisionize diving so deep in the backline onto Limits. Ivan wants to land onto KO, but he's able to Oxform away, but that's forced all of Legacy back. Chuckle's in a lot of trouble here, and he takes a lot of damage, and he takes a spill at the hands of Galen. Desecrator falls down to Idivine, so it's a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Envisionize forced a Mystic Rush away. Tory Skies does have his ultimate available. Didn't use it there on Desecrator, but Kanga, they're unable to get the Phoenix, so a good defense thus far from Legacy.
Yeah, very well played. Even though they have lost our Chuckles, Envisionize will get revived with that Kepri ultimate there, but the damage is still coming through from Limits, and he will be picked off eventually when he lands the basic. He's still alive. Oh my word, finally he does go down. Tory Skies is the next. He's stunned up, and he won't be able to get away, will he? Divine's close. He will have
Surely
Sentinel up. Goes forward. Will he land the route? No, he won't. The minions are in the way, so he can't go for it. Tory Sky is very lucky to get away there.
Very, very lucky indeed. But now it's Legacy's turn to pressure down Kanga's Phoenixes. They don't have the Fire Giant. The Fire Giant only going to last another 30 seconds at the side of Kanga, so Legacy in a good position now to really force out a lot from Kanga. Phoenix being taken down here. Freemason jumps in onto Galen, who's taking a lot of damage, but Galen's just focused on trying to preserve his Phoenix here. Tory Sky taking some poke as well. He's rooted in place by Idivine. Phoenix, though, still relatively healthy, over 50% HP. Limit's getting jumped on there by KO, forces the dash away as well from the ADC. KO, though, is trying to win this team fight all by himself. He's not going to do it. I'm a monster just off the mark there by Idivine. Galen gets a good stun onto Freemason, and thus far, it looks like Kanga going to hold on to their Phoenixes. Desecrator picks up Freemason with the final judgment.
He's got the stun onto Weave as well, but Weave is able to dash away. Tory Sky's extremely low, lucky once again to get away. In the back, that you can see the KO has used that bird form already. That'll be on cooldown, so we can't chase anymore. And that was a really great defense by Kanga right after Legacy had defended well as well. I mean, so it just goes to show how even again, like both of these teams are like equal skill level, like to perfection. They're just back and forth doing the exact same things to the exact same level.
Portal Demon being started up now by Kanga, but Legacy have a chance to steal it here. It does go the way of Kanga. Fire Giant coming up in the next 3 seconds, so that's going to be the biggest point of contention between these two teams. No Phoenixes downed yet by either side. Kanga and Legacy both backing away, but I think Limits and Chuckles realize they need to stick around this Fire Giant for the fear that Kanga could sneak it out from under their noses. They're going to come through this portal now, and Kanga need to be looking for this Fire Giant very, very shortly.
What I really like is that usually at around 35 to 40 minutes, someone on the team is like, okay, I can split push and get something. But both teams have got that decision making, the wisdom to know we need to win the 5v5 and not fight a 4v4 because of 4v5. If the other team sees that someone is missing, then they will engage onto that 4 as 5 and they'll win, and then the split pusher is doing nothing. So it's good to see that they're holding themselves back from that. The engagement.
Oh, Envisionize. Envisionize in a lot of trouble. Freemason going to pick him up with the Eagles rally. Iron Monster off the mark from Idivine. Galen taking a lot of damage here from Chuckles. The Bat out of Hell comes through, and the Kepri ultimate as well. to get Galen out of trouble. KO, he is caught in the back line of Legacy right now, and he's just trying to run away. Chuckles the Limits chasing it down, but they turn their sights back to the Fire Giant. So Legacy, they get this, it'll be their first one of the game, and that could spell a lot of trouble for Kanga. But Legacy, they're dropping off it now as they notice KO still hanging around their backline. Limits stunned out there by KO. KO just delaying the Legacy Fire Giant push for now. Limits eventually does pick him up, but it's delayed them from taking this Fire Giant. But I don't think it's going to matter too much because I don't think there's a whole lot that Kanga can do to stop Legacy.
Yeah, these two frontliners trying to stop the carries of Kanga Esports from getting anywhere in range to taking that Fire Giant. Legacy will be able to pick it up even though they lost that Portal Demon. So Kanga, even though they had the advantage, they still lose out there. And now it's going to be Legacy pressuring the lanes. Which one do you think they'll go for? I mean, they've got free reign of all of them.
Sense dictates the left lane. They've got minions already pushed up there, and it's the most advantageous one to go for if you're looking to perhaps get another Fire Giant in this game. You know, if they're not looking to end straight away, the left-hand one is definitely the one to go for. It just sets them up for more success. So I would say the left-hand side tower. But I like what they're doing is they're kind of pressuring up the mid lane, and then Limits is hanging around this left-hand side, so he can pressure up the left lane if he needs to. It looks like they're just going to go all in on this mid wave.
I think going for another wave. Yeah, because the left lane was already pressured, they could go for another wave, push that up, and then just rotate over to that left lane so that they could continue the pressure that the minions already have there. So, interesting decision. Engagement under the Phoenix though. Torrey Sky is taken extremely low. He's dashing away, but Freemason picks him up with that ultimate in the back line. And Vision Eyes taken extremely low as well. That Final Judgment actually hit no one. So, the reason you picked Toth and Desecrator not able to do it there. But this game is ending here and now, Husey. 50 minutes.
I don't know, Kanga, we've seen them come back from this stage of the game. Chuckle's taking a lot of damage here, so Kanga might be holding on to their Titan. It seems like they have minions pushing down the mid wave, but only one Phoenix has been taken as far from Kanga. And Legacy, they're forced away from any of the game. They're going to be able to go for this right-hand side Phoenix, so they have a lot of sustain still with the Terror heals, with the Fire Giant buff, so they should be able to get this one. Emperor's Armor helping them out as well, and now they look like they're going to start pushing in now that they're a little bit healthy. Aegis forced out of Limits, and now, here we go, now the end is coming for Kanga. Legacy destroying this Titan very, very quickly, and there it goes. 51 minutes into the game, Legacy take the first of this best-of-3 set over Kanga Esports.
Game 1, 22 kills to 16, 50 minutes and 59 seconds, 10k gold for both teams. Sorry, that's not 10k. That's 105,000 gold to 103,000 gold. My word, Husey. We're in for a treat.
Yeah, it's a valiant effort by both sides. You know, Galen and Vision Eyes and KO on the side of Kanga did a great job. For over 40k damage for each of them. 41k damage for Limits on the side of Legacy. Yeah, I think Vision Eyes and KO did a pretty good job. Galen did, maybe his ults were a little bit more on point. Same with Desecrator, could have turned things for Kanga. But Legacy, the endurance they showed to be able to get through that struggle of a game was incredible, and all props to them.
Yeah, I mean, it shows how much stamina both of these teams have. I mean, going for that long game, trying to make as little mistakes as possible, and they did that. I mean, you saw like how even it was, but it was just that one mistake over by that Fire Giant where Legacy were able to pick it up, even though the Portal Demon went to Kanga. That's what ended it. So one mistake in from either team in that game was over, and that's exactly what we saw.
That's going to do it for game number 1. We're going to go a short break, and we'll be back with the second game in this best-of-3 series between Kanga Esports and Legacy. Don't go anywhere.
everything.